My girlfriend laughed. I've been rating you 310 in our girls' group chat for months. I said, thanks for telling me. Then I posted our breakup with screenshots. Her friends were messaging me their apologies within minutes. I'm 38, a physical therapy clinic co-owner, and I thought I had my life figured out. 3 years with Isabella Izzy Crawford, 34, corporate marketing manager at a mid-size consulting firm. We'd been living together for 18 months, talking engagement timelines, even toured 3 houses in Westfield last month. Our dog Buster was basically our practice kid. I genuinely believed we were building something solid, something worth the investment of time and shared dreams. My clinic partnership with Dr. Walsh has been thriving. We've built a solid reputation in the community, treating everyone from weekend warriors to post-surgical patients. I take pride in helping people recover their mobility, their independence. It's honest work that pays well. 6 figures, steady growth, respected in the medical community. Izzy always seemed proud of what I did, at least to my face. Last Friday night, Izzy's company holiday party at the Marriott downtown. Open bar, fancy venue. All her colleagues, including several potential referral sources I'd cultivated through networking events. I'd actually connected with 2 of her coworkers whose spouses needed physical therapy. Professional relationships matter in this business, and I'd worked hard to build credibility in our interconnected professional circles. After her 3rd glass of wine, Izzy was getting loud with her work friends Sophia Walsh, Amber Phillips, and Nicole Burke. They were huddled in their usual gossip formation, talking about some dating app horror story, when Sophia joked about rating guys they'd met at a networking mixer. Izzy burst out laughing, the kind of alcohol-fueled cackle that cuts through ambient party noise. Oh my God, like how I've been rating Liam a 3 out of 10 in our group chat for months. The table went dead silent. Her director was 2 tables away. I was mid-conversation with Jennifer Martinez, a corporate wellness coordinator who'd been considering our clinic for employee referrals. Everyone within earshot stared at Izzy, then at me. The professional smile froze on Jennifer's face. I took a measured sip of my beer, maintaining eye contact with Izzy. Thanks for letting me know, babe. Izzy's wine-flushed face went from tipsy happy to absolute horror in about 2 seconds. The alcohol-induced confidence evaporated as she realized what she'd just announced to a room full of professional contacts. Liam, I was joking. Which part? The rating or the months? It's girl talk. We all do it. Her voice dropped to a desperate whisper, but the damage was done. Jennifer had already excused herself from our conversation. I looked at Sophia, Amber, and Nicole. Sophia was suddenly fascinated by her napkin, studying it like it contained quarterly projections. Amber was frantically texting under the table. Nicole actually mouthed, "I'm sorry," at me. Cool. Well, I'm gonna head out. Liam, don't be dramatic. It doesn't mean anything. She grabbed my arm, her desperation becoming visible to nearby tables. I gently removed her hand. You've been mocking me to your friends for months. That's not girl talk, Izzy. That's just cruel. I wasn't mocking you. The rating system is about compatibility potential. Compatibility? Izzy, we've been talking about getting engaged. We just toured that house in Westfield last weekend. We have a joint savings account. The words came out steady, but I could feel the ground shifting under everything I thought was stable. She went quiet, awareness finally penetrating the wine haze. What's my rating based on? It's stupid. Tell me. My voice carried the tone I used with difficult patients who needed hard truths about their recovery timeline. She sighed, looking around nervously as more colleagues drifted within earshot. Earning potential, physical attraction, bedroom performance, social status, and future husband material. And I'm a 3. The scale is harsh. Even Ryan Gosling would only get like a 7 on our system. So I'm less than half a Ryan Gosling. Got it. I could see Dr. Martinez from the hospital board watching our table with interest. Great. You're twisting it. I pulled out my phone, opened Instagram. The app felt familiar in my hands, but what I was about to do would change everything. What are you doing? Breaking up with you. What? You can't break up with me over Instagram. Her voice cracked, drawing more attention from the professional crowd we were supposed to be impressing. Watch me. The post was simple and direct. Single again. Apparently, I've been a 310 boyfriend for months, according to my now ex's workgroup chat ratings. For anyone interested, I rate being single 10/10. I tagged her and hit post. Her phone started buzzing immediately with notifications. "You're such an asshole," she screamed, loud enough that her director definitely heard. Half the party turned to look, including several physicians I'd worked to build relationships with. I'm a 310 asshole, apparently. Have a good night, Isabella. I maintained my composure, nodded professionally to the colleagues I recognized, and walked out to my car. The December air felt sharp and clean after the suffocating atmosphere of manufactured holiday cheer and professional networking that had just become a personal disaster. During the drive home, my phone kept lighting up with notifications. I'd worked for 3 years to build professional credibility in this community. My reputation mattered for referrals, for the clinic's success, for the financial security I thought Izzy and I were building together. Now that same professional network had just witnessed my girlfriend publicly humiliate me at a corporate function. By the time I got home to our shared apartment, the lease we'd both signed, the furniture we'd bought together, the life we'd been constructing piece by careful piece, my phone was exploding with messages. Buster greeted me at the door, tail wagging, oblivious to the fact that our little family unit had just imploded in spectacular fashion. I sat on the couch we'd picked out together, Buster's head in my lap, and started reading through the digital wreckage of what used to be my relationship. 89 notifications. In a different life, most of them would have been work-related, professional connections, the kind of networking that built careers and practices. Instead, they were the aftermath of public humiliation. Izzy had sent 31 messages ranging from, "Please talk to me," to "You're pathetic," to "I'm sorry," to "You ruined my life," and cycling back to "Please answer." The progression read like the 5 stages of grief compressed into frantic text bursts. But the really interesting messages came from her work friends. Professional women I'd met at networking events, people whose respect I'd worked to earn over months of careful relationship building. Sophia Walsh, senior account manager. "Liam, I'm so sorry. I always told her it was messed up. You deserve better." Nicole Burke, who'd seemed friendly at dinner parties. "Hey, just wanted you to know, not all of us participated in that rating thing. Izzy and Amber were the main ones. Even Amber Phillips, director of client relations. I know you probably hate me, but Izzy was way out of line. The whole thing was her idea." But the bombshell came from Nicole. She sent me screenshots with a message. "You need to see what she really said about you." These weren't just casual ratings. They were detailed performance evaluations, the kind of thorough analysis I'd seen in corporate reviews. Izzy had written paragraphs about my perceived shortcomings, treating our relationship like a quarterly assessment. "Liam's sweet, but he's never going to make tech money. Physical therapy is so middle class, like he helps old people walk better. Where's the growth potential?" I stared at that line. I co-own a thriving practice. We're expanding into sports medicine and corporate wellness. I make good money helping people recover their independence, their mobility, their lives. The sex is vanilla. I've tried to hint at spicing things up, but he's too respectful. It's boring. Sometimes I fantasize about being with someone who just takes charge. She literally never communicated wanting anything different. 3 years together, and she'd been performing satisfaction while critiquing my performance to her friends. He wears the same rotation of button-downs and khakis. It's embarrassing at work events. Everyone else's boyfriends wear designer suits or at least interesting clothes. I dress professionally. I'm not going to blow money on designer suits when well-fitted. Quality clothes serve the purpose. I thought she appreciated my practicality. His friends are all suburban dad types. Game night at Marcus and Julie's is social suicide. Board games and craft beer. It's like hanging out with middle-aged camp counselors. My friends are successful engineers, teachers, healthcare professionals, and small business owners. We enjoy strategy games because we appreciate intellectual challenge and genuine conversation. His mom calls every Sunday at 2 p.m. like clockwork. Red flag much? Mama's boy alert. My mom calls once a week to check in, especially since Dad's health scare last year. I thought family loyalty was a positive trait, but the worst part? She'd been screenshotting our private conversations and sharing them for commentary, including one where I'd opened up about anxiety over the clinic expansion and Dad's recovery process. Her comment, "Stress case alert, not exactly husband material. Who wants to deal with anxiety spirals and family drama?" I felt physically sick reading that. The private moments where I'd been vulnerable, where I'd trusted her with my fears about taking on more business debt, about watching my father face mortality, she'd turn those into entertainment for her friends. Then I noticed something else in Nicole's screenshots. While Izzy was rating me a 3, she was rating her coworker Owen Mitchell a 9. Owen from the marketing department, the same Owen she grabbed strategy lunches with twice a week. The same Owen whose LinkedIn posts she always liked within minutes of posting. Her assessment of Owen: perfect husband material, makes bank in digital marketing, drives a BMW, always dressed like he stepped out of GQ. Plus he's aggressive in bed. You can just tell. If he weren't with Rachel, I'd lock that down immediately. I stared at that message for a long time. While I was planning our future, looking at houses, building a life together, she was essentially window shopping for my replacement. I posted the screenshots to my Instagram story with a simple caption: "For anyone wondering why we broke up, this is who she really is." The response was immediate and overwhelming. My DMs exploded with messages from friends, colleagues, even acquaintances who'd seen the exchange at the holiday party. But more concerning were the messages from my professional network, people who'd witnessed the public humiliation and were reaching out with support. Dr. Jennifer Martinez, the wellness coordinator I'd been talking to when Izzy dropped her bomb: "Liam, I wanted you to know that what happened tonight doesn't reflect on your professionalism. We'd still like to discuss a partnership." 3 physicians from the hospital network sent supportive messages. 2 of my existing referral sources checked in. The professional community was rallying around me, which felt good, but also highlighted how public this had become. Then came the nuclear fallout. Owen Mitchell, the 9-rated prince of marketing, turned out to have a girlfriend. Rachel Torres, a graphic designer who ran her own successful boutique firm. Rachel saw my posts, did some digging, and discovered that Izzy and Owen had been having strategy sessions that involved a lot more than marketing plans. Rachel sent me a message that night: "Thank you for inadvertently exposing everything. Found out Owen and your ex have been meeting for work drinks and weekend brainstorming sessions for 3 months. Just dumped him. We should compare notes sometime." Meanwhile, Izzy was trying damage control. She posted this long, carefully crafted statement about privacy violations and emotional manipulation, painting herself as the victim of my vindictive exposure of private conversations. The post was pure corporate speak, probably workshopped with her communications team. What happened tonight was a private conversation taken out of context and weaponized by someone who can't handle honest feedback. Sharing private messages without consent is a violation of trust and basic human decency. I'm disappointed that someone I cared about would stoop to public humiliation instead of having an adult conversation. Nobody bought it. Her colleagues, the same people who had just witnessed her public meltdown at the holiday party, saw right through the polished damage control. The comments were brutal. Honest feedback: you called your boyfriend a 310 at a work function. Ma'am, you screenshotted private conversations about his father's health. That's not feedback, that's cruel. Maybe don't rate people like products if you don't want to be called out for it. Her professional LinkedIn, which boasted over 600 connections, mostly from our industry network, became a liability. Several colleagues commented on her posts with barely veiled references to the incident. Her director, a sharp woman named Patricia Mills, who'd built the marketing department from 5 people to 30, followed Izzy's Instagram. She saw everything. Within days, word was circulating that Izzy was being reviewed for unprofessional conduct that reflected poorly on company culture. The friend group implosion was spectacular. Nicole sent me more details about the rating system's full scope. For 2 years, they'd rated every guy in their orbit like products in a consumer report. But Izzy hadn't stopped at boyfriends. She'd been rating other women's partners too. She gave Sophia's fiancé Marcus a 2 and wrote, "I honestly don't know how she can stand looking at him. He's soft, makes teacher money, and has 0 ambition. She's settling hard." Sophia found out when someone forwarded the screenshots. Their 8-year friendship imploded overnight. She'd rated Amber's ex-boyfriend Trevor an 8 with the comment, "Amber fumbled hard. Investment banker. Great body, family money." I would have locked that down and never let go. When Amber discovered this, it explained why Izzy had been so interested in her relationship details and so quick to offer advice during their rough patches. The entire professional friend group turned on each other. Everyone was screenshotting old messages, exposing ratings, revealing secrets shared in confidence. It was like watching a corporate team implode during a hostile takeover, but worse because these were real people destroying real relationships and professional reputations. 3 days after the party, Izzy showed up at my apartment early Sunday morning. She looked rough, no makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing sweats instead of her usual put-together appearance. The confident marketing professional had been replaced by someone who looked like she hadn't slept. "Can we talk?" "There's nothing to talk about, Izzy." "I might get fired." "That's not my problem." "It's because of your posts." Patricia said I showed poor judgment and created a hostile work environment by discussing personal relationships at company functions. "You created that yourself when you started rating people's private lives for entertainment." She started crying, the kind of desperate tears that come when consequences finally catch up. "Owen won't talk to me, my friends hate me, my parents are disgusted. Even my therapist says I need to take accountability." "Good. Maybe accountability is what you needed all along." "I'm sorry. Is that what you want to hear? I'm sorry I rated you." "You're not sorry you did it, Izzy. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference." "That's not true. You did this for 8 months. You shared private conversations about my dad's health. You called my business anxiety a character flaw. You turned my vulnerability into gossip. You don't get to apologize your way out of that. People say things they don't mean with friends. For 8 months, that's not venting, that's just who you are." She tried shifting tactics, appealing to our shared history. "Remember when we first met at Devin's house, warming 3 years ago? You said I was the most beautiful woman there." "I remember. And apparently you thought I was a 310 this whole time. That's not... The scale doesn't measure everything that matters." "What does it measure then? Because according to your detailed analysis, I fail at earning potential, physical attraction, performance, social status, and husband material. That's literally everything you evaluated me on." She went quiet for a long time, the weight of her own system being turned back on her settling in. "You know what? Fine. You want the brutal truth? You are a 3 on my scale. You're boring. Your job is mediocre. You dress like a suburban dad. Your idea of excitement is board game night with Marcus and Julie. And yeah, the sex was forgettable. I settled for you because I thought you'd be grateful and wouldn't ask for more." There it was, the real Isabella Crawford, stripped of pretense and social polish. "Thanks for the honesty. Now get out." "I didn't mean that." "Yes, you did, and that's fine. I'd rather be a 310 with integrity than whatever rating you'd give yourself." She left, but not before delivering one final shot. "You'll never find someone as good as me." I actually laughed, the first genuine laugh I'd had in days. "Izzy, I've been building genuine connections with people who actually appreciate what I bring to a relationship. Turns out a lot of people value stability, kindness, and emotional maturity." Her face was priceless. 6 weeks later, the universe delivered its own rating system. Rachel Torres, Owen's ex-girlfriend, and I had been talking regularly. What started as commiseration over shared betrayal had evolved into genuine friendship, then something more meaningful. We took it slow. Both of us were gun-shy after our experiences, but she was everything Izzy had criticized me for wanting. Rachel thought physical therapists were heroes because we'd helped her father recover from a stroke 2 years earlier. She appreciated my stability, my close relationship with my family, my friends, who preferred deep conversations to surface networking. She found my boring consistency refreshing after Owen's chaotic need for constant stimulation. "You know what I love about you?" she said over dinner at our favorite quiet restaurant. "You're exactly who you appear to be. No games, no hidden agendas, no performance, just genuine." Meanwhile, Izzy's rating system had gone viral on TikTok. Someone had made a video using screenshots that reached 280,000 views. The comments were merciless. "Imagine rating your boyfriend while being unemployable." She called him vanilla, but her idea of spicy was Owen from marketing. The audacity is astronomical. She became a cautionary tale about toxic relationship behavior. People started making 310 jokes as a shorthand for undervaluing good partners. "My cat is a 310. Doesn't pay rent, but at least she's honest about it. Izzy deleted all her social media and moved back to her parents' house in Vermont. Her sister Emma told me she had applied for several positions, but companies kept finding the viral videos during background checks. But here's the real karma. Izzy's mother called me 2 months later. Liam, I need to apologize for what Isabella did. We didn't raise her to treat people like commodities. It's not your fault, Mrs. Crawford. How's your father doing? Emma mentioned his health scare. He's doing great, thank you. Clean bill of health. Thank God. Please tell him Tom and I are thinking of him. And Liam, you were the best thing that ever happened to our daughter. She just wasn't mature enough to see it. That conversation taught me something important. I'd spent 3 years thinking I was lucky to have Izzy, grateful she'd chosen me despite my supposed limitations. Learning she'd seen me as a settlement while I was planning our future together was devastating, but ultimately liberating. I'm the same person I was before, same career, same values, same commitment to treating people with respect. But now, I know my worth isn't determined by someone else's arbitrary rating system. I'm a good partner, and I deserve someone who sees that clearly. To anyone reading this, remember, you're not someone else's rating. You're a whole person deserving of genuine love and respect. Don't settle for someone who sees you as settling.